Hey everybody, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Ready to Die Fighting. I'm Chris, and a little while back I made a video about fighting from your back, or self-defense from your back. I can't remember what I called it exactly, but it was something like that. I'll link to it. I think right there, or down there, or whatever. You know how this works. This is probably not your first time on YouTube. And last night I was working with my buddy Hector here. And it occurred to me that as women, not only are our proportions different, but the way we're going to be attacked is different from how a man is likely to be attacked. Also, our strength ratios or distribution is a little bit different. You know, our center of gravity is lower. Our lower bodies are quite strong, whereas upper body generally is a little bit weaker compared to men. And so I've taken plenty of classes in martial arts and some kind of generic self-defense things, and that's something that I haven't really heard talked about. And I thought that was interesting. Like, why isn't anybody talking about that? Why isn't anybody, to my knowledge, building any self-defense systems that capitalize on that? And so even though this is just a really half-baked idea, I kind of wanted to explore that a little bit. Now, me and Graham here were specifically working on, and he can sit up on his own when he's not being lazy and difficult. Okay. Then we were specifically working on some, some fairly basic stuff, some triangles, some different chokes and things out of side control, nothing too fancy. I am a white belt in jiu-jitsu. I want to be very clear about that. Whenever I talk about jiu-jitsu stuff, I'm a white belt. So that means I don't have a ton of experience with this. I don't consider myself to be the least bit qualified to teach, but I can present some concepts to you, some ideas, and please, please, please seek out a good instructor, or at least some YouTube channels or other sources where you got some black belts or some, even some blue belts, or not blue belts. I mean, you could learn from a blue belt, but I at least try to get a purple belt or higher. Purple, brown, black. They can teach you, better than I can. They've got far more experience than I can. But all that being said, I'll tell you what I know. And, you can build off from there. So, as I've mentioned in my other video, a lot of people think, let me back up a little bit, that if somebody is on top of you and you're on your back, you're losing this fight. You're in a bad position. And that isn't necessarily the case. This is actually a pretty good position to be in. And let me show you why. Because he's in between my legs right now. Which, again, as a woman, being on your back, having an attacker on your back in between your legs, you're probably thinking, oh shit, this is worst case scenario. But if I just roll over, nothing's changed here except I've rolled over. Most people would agree that this is a really good position to be in. Only difference is just flipping over. And so realistically, a lot of the things that are available to you in this position are also available to you when you're in this position. Striking is going to be a little bit different, but you can really control a person like this. Not only that, there's a lot of attacks from here. And I think if we're talking about for women, one of the best ones we could be talking about is the triangle. Because women are generally pretty flexible, and our legs are strong, stronger than our upper bodies, generally speaking. I'm going by stereotypes, none of this is written in stone. But generally speaking, most women seem to feel like they have more strength in their legs than in their arms, and are generally more flexible than men, unless they're training. So, a triangle is simply a way that you can choke someone with your legs, and you can choke them out pretty quickly. if you just got a little bit of flexibility and you know the technique. Shorter legs do make it a little bit harder, but you can tweak it. So I'm going to show you just like the basic idea of how to do a triangle from what we call guard. So the idea here is this guy's on top of me. And if we were doing jujitsu, he would probably be what we call posturing up and trying to straighten himself out and create some distance here. Like with his arms, like he'd be putting his arms like on my, what do you call this? I guess my hips, my stomach, whatever, and kind of pushing himself up. Because he actually wants to get out of this situation. In a self-defense scenario, that may not very well be the case. He might be trying to rape me. He might be trying to choke me. He might be punching me or whatever, but I'm not defenseless here. I can wrap my legs around here and I can kind of control him. I can pull him closer to me. I can kind of push him back. I can squeeze really tight. And when you're squeezing, don't think knees in, think straighten. As you straighten your legs out, your quads going straight are stronger, most likely, than these hip, or sorry, not hip, these, what do they call it? Adductors, I think. I think they're adductors. It's stronger than that. Unless you are really working that thigh master, this isn't as strong as this is. But as you straighten out, it automatically squeezes. And that, I can hold this a lot longer than I can hold squeezing, and I can do it tighter. So you can squeeze and control a person really good with this. And what you want to do is what we call breaking their posture. And you want to bring them down. From right here, you can hold their arm, just work it in here. You can work it in that way. And they are going to be focused more on getting away from you. Squeezing in. He can't punch me like this. He can't do a whole lot to me like this if I'm squeezing him. But maybe my upper body isn't that strong and I can't hold him here. Maybe he can get away from me. And as he gets space, now he can hit, now he can choke. And so another thing, let's just say, and I'm going to get a little bit graphic here. Maybe he is trying to rape me. And maybe at this point he's reaching his hands downward to take my pants off or pull his dick out or whatever it is he's trying to do. That may seem bad, but he actually just did me a favor, especially if this hand is up and say he's trying to choke me or whatever with it. He actually did me a favor. This is fantastic for me because now I don't have to try to set up this triangle. I can just do it. The idea is you want one hand down, one hand up. And then you're bringing this leg up on the shoulder. This leg up on the shoulder. So he's got one arm in here, one arm down here, head up here. And this is where you squeeze. Now this is not the triangle in and of itself. And I'm just going over the absolute basics idea of what this technique is. Bring that head in, and you're trying to hold on here and squeeze it in. Now at this point, he's probably going to be trying to fight you or whatever. Let him. Who cares? Good luck, buddy. Cross your ankles. Make sure you really got that. Doesn't matter which way. Now, once you have a, I guess like an opening where you feel like you can kind of make some adjustments, keep holding onto this head and grab your shin. Grab your shin and pull that nice and tight. At the same time, this leg, I don't know how I can turn to try to make this a little easier to see. This leg can either come down and plant on the ground, or you can plant it on his hip. Maybe. Can you see me now? All right. So I'm putting that on the ground, or depending on how he's positioned, with a dummy, this is very tricky. You can put it like on his hip or leg or whatever. Just put it someplace so that you can get some leverage. Do not let go of this leg, and don't hold on by your foot. Hold on by the shin or ankle, not the foot. Hold on to his head. Keep him in this position. If you lose this position, you're screwed. And now you want to kind of turn to an angle, and you're trying to get perpendicular to him. So like at a 90 degree. Right? The further you can get over, probably within a certain extent, the easier it will be. Now, you're in a good position where you can use this leg to lock it down. Still hold on to that if you can. And now you squeeze your knee in, so you're kind of flaring this foot out, squeezing that knee in, and just squeeze everything. Pull this arm, pull this head, squeeze, and within seconds, he's going to be unconscious. And that's basically it. There's this particular choke can be used in a lot of different positions. There's a lot of ways to get into that position. There's a lot of different tweaks and little variations. By all means, Google it, YouTube it, find someone who's higher ranking than me and ask them to show it to you, whatever. But I'm just trying to give you an idea of what you can do. So if you ever catch yourself in that pretty bad situation, you can survive it. So let me try it again. See if I can show it to you one more time. It's kind of hard. This dummy. Freaking John here doesn't want to cooperate with me. Sit up, John. All right. So, if he didn't put his hand butt down here by himself, you can you have different options. So, you can do things to kind of force it, using your legs to pull him. And you would be this way, but he's a dummy and everything feels weird with him. So, freaking, it's so weird having a clown face looking down at me like this. So there's different things you can do, but you want one hand up, one hand down between your legs. Just make that happen somehow. Again, there's different strategies on that. Google triangles. BJJ triangle. Triangle from guard in particular. That's what we're doing here. But let's just say, do something like that. You get his arm, and this one's kind of down here, and maybe you can wrestle it underneath here. At this point, open up and just kind of do that to rub a number, and you want to hold on to his head. You want to try to get this arm over here. And hold on for dear life here. He's going to be trying to fight you. He's probably going to try to stand up or whatever. Don't let him. Once you get an opportunity, turn. All right. Oops, you know what? I let go. Sorry. See, I'm a white belt.
Can I read my civic grade book? The one that says the red affirm?
No. Read Selena.
Okay.
Finish Selena. So then you want to turn. Got all my meat out here. Get that nice and tight. Boom. Get that on nice. Tweak, squeeze, choke him out. We're talking seconds. You're not going to be doing this for a long time. Literally seconds. He's going to black out. There's definitely other things that you can do from there. Google or YouTube search submissions from closed guard or submissions from open guard, and you'll be able to find a lot of different stuff. Maybe even beginner or easy or white belt submissions from guard. All right. Let me think, is there anything else I need to add to this? I think maybe you should like and subscribe if this is helpful. Maybe share it with some people who may also enjoy it. Those are all good ideas. We just started our second round of lockdowns, or restrictions, a little bit less of a lockdown this time around, 2.0 in Michigan. So everybody stay safe, mask up. What is it, mask up, numbers down, something like that. I don't know, whatever. But stay safe, happy holidays, mask on, all that fun stuff.